Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting the like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Professional I9680 from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. And it says, Am I overreacting? My boyfriend gave his mother the dress I wanted for my birthday. Oh dearie me. I, 23 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 26 male, for the past 3 years. About 2 months ago, while we were out shopping, I saw this really gorgeous, amazing dress that was just perfect for me, and in my favorite color. He looked at the dress and said it was beautiful, but it was rather expensive. $200, so we didn't end up getting it. For weeks after this, I would constantly talk about the dress to him and how I couldn't stop thinking about how beautiful it was and hope one day I could save to buy it since we've been budgeting a bit lately. He would hear about the dress from me all the time and talked about how great he thought it would look on me. So yesterday was my birthday, and we had a little get together with some members of both of our families to celebrate. Except when his mother arrived to our house, she was wearing the exact dress in the exact color. I was stunned. I thought that he must have told her about it and she went and got one, but it turns out that wasn't the case. In my surprise, I said, "Oh my god, there's no way. That's the same dress I was looking at and dying for months." And she replied saying, "Oh really? Zane, my boyfriend, gave it to me as a gift last month." I was shocked and confused. Even more so when boyfriend gave me the birthday gift he got me, and it was a gift card for Sephora for $50. For the rest of the night, I sat quietly in a corner in silence and confusion. I felt hurt and was lost in my head as to what was going on. My boyfriend and everyone was blissfully unaware and happy the entire night, and I didn't want to ruin the mood, so I started trying to put on a good face. But I can't shake this feeling of being hurt. A part of me feels like I'm overreacting and acting spoiled and entitled. Am I? Just need to know if I need to calm down and not be upset about this. Now, from what you described, there is no way this guy didn't know how much you wanted that dress. I mean, you talked about it all the way through this post and said that you've been telling him for months. Even mentioning himself how it would look so good on you, etc. And I just really don't understand the logic behind it. Knowing your girlfriend wants it so bad, getting it for your mum, knowing your girlfriend is going to see your mum at some point in the future, likely in that dress, is just mind-blowing. You know, it doesn't come across as thoughtlessness. I don't know what the hell he's thinking either. Is it one of those stories where he's like purposely trying to break up with you and doing it in a weird roundabout way? And that would be a bizarre ass way to go about this, right? I really want to know what he's doing. Rich Ad says, "Babe, there is no way a 26-year-old man is this oblivious. He's treating you like dirt. It's not about the dollar value of your birthday present. It's that it was just a gift card with zero thought. Then for him to know how much you've been banging on about this dress and to randomly buy it for his mother is beyond strange. You're 23. Just quietly end the relationship. You don't even need to cite this as the reason. He and his mama will gaslight you anyway. Just say you don't feel the same and are ending it. Don't say more." Opie said, "I had the thought of, is this worthy of a breakup after this? But I always have a habit of doubting my feelings as being valid. I spent most of the night thinking I was being a brat about it, so thank you for the kind words and encouragement." The Reddit kid returned saying, "It's actually so odd that you talked about this dress so much and he went out of his way to buy it for his mum? I genuinely can't even imagine a good excuse for this, lol. I'd be so weirded out. Also, I feel like I'd been with a sociopath or something because that's an insane lack of empathy or understanding on his part." Opie responds saying, "What is even more odd is this. The shopping area we saw the dress at is a good distance from our home, and the dress is not his mother's taste at all. So this means sometime after the fact of us being there, he drove all the way back there and for some reason bought the specific dress I wanted and gave it to his mother for no reason, as it wasn't a birthday nor any special occasion for her. According to her, he just randomly said, 'I have something for you, mum,' and he brought the dress over to her house. She didn't know any other details about that being a dress I wanted." Lemonade Cookie says, sounds like he did it on purpose. He probably knows you have good taste and used that to get a present for his mum. Was it for anything or just a gift out of nowhere? He had to know you'd see her wearing it. What was he thinking? Sounds like he wasn't, to be honest. Sounds like he's a mama's boy and didn't put in any effort for your gift. I'd be livid. Don't put up with this BS, girl. You deserve better. If you want to talk it out with him, do that and see what he says. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. But if you do, mention how it was obvious that you wanted that dress and how hurtful it was that he gifted it to his mum and not you when he knew you loved that dress. Opie says a part of me also had this thought. Was this intentional and planned? Then I thought I was being paranoid and they would never do that. But then thinking more, I then thought it had to be done on purpose. My head's in circles trying to piece it together. That's the even weirder part. It wasn't her birthday or any special occasion for her. He just gave it to her randomly. My Reddit says and replies to it saying it definitely has put her in her place vibes to me. This guy sucks, OP. Upset Dust says weird. And I don't think that too many mums wear the same style as your girlfriends. Is this a real story? If so, then dump Zane, because no reason why he would do such a thing. What an idiot. Oh, I love it when people get sassy. OP says it's very weird, and weird is how I feel. Best way to describe how I feel, weird and hurt. I have no reason to make this up, and she doesn't wear the same style as me. Never has and not even close, so I don't understand it even more. The dress is completely not her taste. Bubbles says, mother of a son here. Please tell this mum what her son did. Not all of us are under the assumption that our job ends when that boy turns 18, and she may be one of them. My responsibility in the legal sense ends at 18, but I'm still going to be his mum, and that involves helping them when it's needed, and this boy clearly needs help. Shell says, Mum here. I have no sons, but I guarantee you if we did, their father and I would be extremely disappointed in that behavior, and would make it known. In fact, if I were the mum in that situation and we were the same size, I would give her the damn dress myself and do it right in front of the son. She could wear it, make napkins out of it, or burn it in a ritualistic cleansing ceremony. I wouldn't give a shit. Throw the whole man away. So OP does update the post and says, I finally got the nerve to straight up ask him about everything. And his response, TLDR, was he thought I had to be humbled a bit because I got way too overly excited about something as trivial as a dress. He thought it would be fun to see my reaction to it all. His mother had no idea about any of this and just thought her son was giving her a gift. I'm so upset and hurt that I just called my mum to come get me and will be staying with her for a few days while I figure out the next steps. But I'm not going back to him. Second update, first of all I want to say thank you and express my gratitude to all the people who have shown support. The kind words mean so much to me right now. I'm sorry I can't respond to each and every comment or DM. Just know I'm reading them and thank you. Me and Zane are over for good. He keeps calling me but I won't answer, and there's nothing he can say or do to change that. I've realized and taken this a sign of nature, yet kept hidden so well until now. The top comment on the back of that says, no, dude is playing some hardcore manipulation games that if you know are abusive as fuck and warning signs of a narcissistic sociopath. He did all that on purpose to intentionally hurt you and make you feel like you don't matter on your birthday. There's no reasoning with individuals like this. Attempting to be validated or have them take accountability will only waste your time and potentially escalate the manipulation. Break up, block, separate yourself from him. This will wound his ego, and he may try to get you back under his control first with sugar, then with fear, or maybe straight to fear, abuse and threats of violence, or whatever else he thinks will motivate you to do what he wants. Don't let anyone tell you the behavior around this dress, your birthday, all of it are not real big, rather scary red flags for a sociopathic narcissist bullshit. Once you have separated, if you choose to, you really should do some reading on narcissistic personality disorders and relationships to make yourself aware of the tactics and strategies they use to avoid them in the future. That shit is cruel. How he went about making sure to hurt you on your birthday, and it's fucking pathetic on his part. Whatever fake name says, I would be upset too. It's okay that he gets his mother a present more expensive than yours, but buying the thing you wanted so much for his mum? and letting her wear it at your birthday? That's either stupid or really mean. OP says yes, exactly this. I wouldn't mind at all a guy buying his mum gifts. I strongly believe good mums could be cherished, but why this gift? Why was it the dress that I wanted? I've been trying to make it make sense. Commenter replies saying, the part where he says that you need to be humbled? What the fuck? He's trying to eat away at your self-confidence. It's called negging and is extremely emotionally abusive. Hope you have friends or family close by that can help you get away from this harmful dude. The sooner, the better. Now, I wasn't sure what I was expecting his reasoning to be after this. I really wasn't. But I wasn't expecting to read that he thought you had to be humbled and actually said this to you and thought it'd be fun to see your reaction. And a commenter was right, that's genuinely sociopathic behavior. The fact that he drove back to the store that you've been talking about, where this dress has been that you've been talking about for months, gave it to his unsuspecting mother, who had seemed to have no idea she was being used in this sick game, then just sat back and watched you suffer at your own birthday party. Madness. You absolutely dodged a bullet by leaving. This man has revealed exactly who he is. And again, totally agreeing with the comments, block, move on, do not answer anything from this guy. Got a feeling he's the type of person that will try and worm his way back in with something, maybe even buying the dress again to try and get OP back on his side. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is from a few years back. It's one that we haven't covered before. It's a non-throwaway from the Ask Reddit subreddit and says, a man came up to me and said he was my father, but I already know who my dad is. Or do I? What should I do? Is he a scam artist? He claims that he was married to my mum before my dad and she left him for my dad. He says this happened while she was pregnant with me and she put my dad on the birth certificate and they, my parents and grandfather, used their power and money to make sure he couldn't stay in contact with me. He also claims when I was 5 he tried again and my dad broke his fingers. He says he has just now contacted me because with my granddad's tragic death last year, it's safe now. Issues with his story. 1. He had no documentation, although he promised to show me some and suggested he bring it by my apartment that he knows the location of. 2. I'm 20. Why now? 3. My dad is a non-violent man. Can't see him breaking anyone's fingers. He never spanked me when I was a kid and was always the pushover parent. 4. My granddad traded stocks. He was hardly a mafia kingpin. 5. My parents were childhood sweethearts and are still crazy about each other, in addition to being decent people. He also kept commenting on my money, saying I looked like a banker, in jeans and a button-up, asking if my dad gave me my watch and how much my bike cost. He did tell me his name and his number and show his license, and I'm considering running a background check, but my parents see my expenses. In his favor, 1. I look like him. 2. I've never seen my parents' wedding pictures. 3. He didn't seem insane. 4. He knew a lot of information that would be hard to find about my family. 5. He mentioned a coat I had as a kid. 6. I'm an only child. My mum said that they never got so lucky as to have another. I don't know. I would usually ask my parents, but my mum just got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I don't want to worry her or my dad that some psycho is trying to swindle me or harass or harm me. Edit 1. I called my real dad first, deciding that he was a better call than fake dad or the cops, until I assessed the situation. I asked him if he knew name. He responded by asking if I was at my apartment. When I said yes, he said he'd be there in half an hour. Shit, this isn't good. Edit 2. He is my biological father. My dad and my mum showed up. He said it was more her story than his. Apparently when they were married, he was abusive. When she told him she filed for divorce, he pushed her down the stairs and she had to be hospitalized. She decides promptly that he will never get near enough to hurt her child. Her childhood best friend offers to marry her. This is all pretty convoluted. My life and parents are a lot different than they were this morning. A commenter was asking what happened after your parents came. Opie says I opened the door. I was surprised to see my mum, although I should have known he wouldn't come alone. Both because that's not how they do things and because on Tuesdays at the time he's usually home between business and racquetball. We greet. My mum hugs me. My dad just puts his hand on my cheek and says I'm everything he could want in a son. I say, so who is name? The guy who got in contact with OP. My mum says I'll start at the beginning. I met him when I was 19. He was a moody violinist and it seemed the right amount of rebellion to fall in love with him. I was hardly the type to date a drummer, and then it unfolded. By the end, me and my mum are crying. My dad is holding her arm, and I don't know why this bothered me, but I asked if they were in love. My dad said I've loved your mother since I was 5 years old, but we're both so stubborn it may have taken us 40 years to realize it if we hadn't become a family to protect you. We were going to get a divorce when you were 2, but we were so happy neither of us brought it up. Then we all laughed a little and I'm heading there for dinner in a few hours. It's a screwed up situation, but my family is still my family and I'm a lucky guy. Someone asks, did your dad break his finger? Opie says yes. My dad said when I was little, my mum caught him watching us in the park and promptly ushered me into the car. He came to the apartment and she went down to the lobby. He cornered her and when his charm, I gave you such a fine son, he got my looks, doesn't he? I think the least you owe me is a few hours. Grabbed her, leaving bruises, and had to be escorted out by security. He was waiting for my dad outside his office the next day. My dad is angry but listens to him going on. Give a man enough rope to hang himself, he always says. Then he mentions money. He's been deprived of his son. If this continues, reparation only seems fair. My dad decided that you can't stalk his family and shake around his wife with loose threats. So he grabs his hand and twists it until it breaks, telling him that the next time it will be his bow hand, and he will never give him a dime or let him ruin his son. Someone says, how did your parents marry? Opie says my parents claim they married as friends to give me a name other than his and a father to make it difficult should the abusive ass ever attempt to use me as leverage. Then they fall in love. Originally they planned to divorce after a respectable time frame, but they found marriage suited them. Someone says, how are your parents now? They have always been best friends. There's a picture on our mantle of them at 5 years old. Their nannies used to let them play together. They were never romantic, they both claimed. My mum says her father was so severe and unemotional that she never would have risked the person closest to her for mere dating. Then they got married to protect me and they're madly in love. They have lunch together every day. I remember as a kid being embarrassed by how much they touched, that during a sleepover would walk out and they'd just be reading with his head in her lap. They're very happy. Honestly, this story seems completely out of nature for him. He's really mild-mannered, never raised a hand to me. My mum is the more serious partner. Someone says, why no half-siblings? Opie says my dad is infertile. They tried for years to have another baby and it never happened. Someone asks, how do you fairly consider both sides when there's strong emotional and physical evidence of abuse? Opie says, honestly, this makes sense. It explains the situation and my mum to an extent, who spends so much time volunteering with domestic abuse charities. Also, you can't fake emotion. We were all practically crying by the end. Plus, he was in prison briefly for this, and my mum has scars from when she had to have surgery on her leg. So then Opie came in with her first update, which was titled, a man came up to me and said he was my father, and in brackets, I have a sister. Opie starts, my question got an amazing amount of replies and I appreciate it. So, not being an ass, I decided to give a final update before I go back to my usual account. After a lot of thought, I've decided that, all issues aside, I simply have no interest in this man who has my jaw and some shared DNA. I'm a junior at NYU, doing a dual major and overload this semester. Between that and lining up internships, I barely have time to sleep. I have a great family and couldn't ask for better. I was never that kid who wished his parents were anyone else, except maybe Batman when I was 9. I wish I had more time for them than once a week, dinner and phone calls. I don't wish I had some extra father figure, and I've got enough friends. If he were a decent man, I might feel that I owe it to him. But considering the fact that his actions resulted in this, and if my mum had stayed, I would have been raised in an abusive home, likely abused myself. I don't feel bad about this, just relieved. I also, for those who are worried about any possible truth from fake real dad, I asked my dad if I could see any of the paperwork on my bio dad. He assuaged my curiosity. The divorce papers were in there, the restraining order, and even pictures of my mum after he shoved her. Yeah, he's a scumbag. He was waiting at my usual coffee shop today. We'll find a new one, and basically was pushy and an ass. He never once admitted any kind of wrongdoing or anything. I ended the conversation by saying, "Thank you for contacting me, but I'm happy in life right now. If I ever change my mind, I will contact you." He then got this weird look of outraged dignity and said that I was an ungrateful little bastard, and that if he were richer than my dad, I'd be on my knees. Then he said that without him, I wouldn't exist. Said I was his only son and he wished he didn't have one. Hell, he wished he didn't have a daughter as she was just as ungrateful. He said a lot more, but that's the gist. I have a dad. It's not this joker. I may look up the sister at some point in the future when I have the time and mindset to explore that, although she's probably just a kid. TLDR, no interest in forming a relationship with Biodad, due to his past acts. Satisfying proof seen. I also don't feel obligated. He stalked me today and confirmed this. Oh, and I have a sister. So people were questioning how safe OP was in the situation, and OP said, "Unfortunately, I think the best thing is for me to take up my dad's offer of a car and driver until all this settles. We'll also be moving into a rental property we own because it has higher access, i.e. a doorman has to admit you. Honestly, should have been in a nicer apartment anyways. Just on the off chance someone finds out my parents' worth and thinks my place would be nice to case." About the sister, Opie says, "Yeah, I won't contact him about it. I'll have a routine background check and she should show up. Honestly don't know what to do about it or how to go about it. What if her life is horrible? I don't really have any power to change it. What if she's like 8 and lives across the country? It seems doubtful we'd connect on any meaningful level. I can only assume she has a caregiver and hope it's a good one. Honestly, contact from me won't do much if she was in a bad situation. I'm a 20-year-old kid whose income until my first trust opens is entirely dependent on my parents, and I'm not even legally a brother. It's all word of mouth. I guess the main point is I see no need to rush. Even if she's in a less than tenable place, there's little I can do to change anything. Although I can't help but feel horrible when I think of the pictures of my mum I saw, her face bloodied from his hands and her body bruised when he shoved her down the stairs, and feel bad for any kid he raised." And OP adds a comment about the bio father and says, "I'm dismissing my biological father because he's an abusive ass. He pushed my mum down a flight of stairs while pregnant after he knocked her around a little. She still has a slight limp. To me, that's unforgivable. To me, shared experiences are what bond people anyways. That's why I love my parents. Not because of money or blood. I have no interest in a relationship with him. If he hadn't been abusive, we would have had an obligated lunch, but I still wouldn't truly want to form a relationship. I would just feel obligated to this stranger. I just don't want to start something until I've considered the implications. This could be just as negative in the girl's life as it could be positive. It's also possible that she might be in contact with Biodad, who I want nothing to do with. Let me adjust your facts. Biodad did not live near poverty line. He was middle class, an amazing violinist who taught in the city and did very well. Also, my mum had access to a trust fund during the marriage and contributed a large amount into the household income. Their marriage lasted 2 years, not counting the separation. Records of hospitalization go back close to the beginning. The pictures of after the final incident have her with black eyes. Odd, in an accidental shove. So it was 6 months after that last post that OP came in with another update and said, "I took some time, but eventually curiosity got the best of me. She's 17 with a 5-month-old and her background is completely different than mine. We corresponded a little on the internet but met today. I drove 2 hours. She seemed like a nice girl, but I didn't feel any wow we're related moment or strong sense of kinship. Maybe I don't know how siblings are supposed to feel. I don't know. Mostly it was awkward. Me and 17-year-old girls don't have a lot in common. She said I reminded her of someone on Gossip Girls and owned Justin Bieber CDs. But she did reinforce my belief that I'm doing right by not connecting with the Biodad. He hasn't seen her son and hasn't contacted her in a year. Just wanted to let those of you who helped me out last year know. Thanks, guys. And OP has one more comment on meeting the half-sister and says, I'm a whole 21 years old now, full of vain wisdom and false prophecy. I guess it's not just age, although I'm the youngest in my friend group, but upbringing too. She's uninformed about so much. She was giving her son Kool-Aid and I had to bite my tongue and kept swatting his hand to keep him from thumb-sucking. She's also really into YOLO and partying and baby mama drama. She was nice, just really different. The red flags were flagging pretty early in the story for me, especially when that bio dad came in and started talking about his bike and what things are worth, etc. I thought, oh dear me, here we go. And then the bio dad immediately turning toxic the moment he didn't get his way, just proving OP made the right call in the end. But what an absolute wild situation. What do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, truly. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.